This is the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast.
Oh no! We suck again!
I'm getting confused. What game are you calling?
I'm calling both games.
It is caught by Kelsey! Touchdown! Kansas City!
I need 3 of those things, baby. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. You like that? You like that? I like that.
And one.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 135 of the Ruckus and The Menace Sports Podcast. I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus.
And I'm Ruckus the Menace.
And this week, or on this episode, we will talk about the Super Bowl, even though your boy is a little bit upset about it, but in a productive way and smart way. We'll talk about that a little bit later. We'll have our transaction log, our football pick'ems, and our results from those football pick'ems as far as the Super Bowl win, and the players that we picked for our anytime touchdown scorer, which Spennis had Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts. I had Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And then we also had our halftime show thing with what songs we guessed would be performed. And then we'll have our good, bad, and ugly, our Eastwood segment. No color commentary this episode. But we will also talk about what wasn't on our 2025 bingo card later on, and then our
we will have a new entry. We do have a new entry for this episode.
Yep. And then we'll talk about our high heat, which is our NFL honors results and Super Bowl recap. So we'll talk about who actually won the respected award, and then we'll also talk about our thoughts for the Super Bowl and just the whole meat and potatoes of it all. All right, Spennis, do you want to take over on transaction log?
All right, yes, we will start with the transaction log. And in the NHL, Alexander Ovechkin, unless he has scored over the last couple of games, over the last bit, he is 16 goals away from chasing and catching Wayne Gretzky. He is at 26 goals, so that puts him at 879. So he is 16 away from catching Gretzky. He needed to be at 42 goals this season to get him, and he's over halfway there. But over half of the season has come and gone. And if he plays one more, he would be playing at 40 to get it.
I hope he gets it just so that he could retire.
I hope he gets it.
Go ahead.
I really hope he gets it.
I do too.
The next one here is, unless you were going to throw something more.
I was just going to say really quickly. I remember on SportsCenter when I was a kid watching him play against was it Bobby Crosby or
Bobby Crosby was a shortstop. Yeah, Bobby Crosby was a shortstop for the Oakland Athletics.
This tells you how much I don't know about NHL hockey. But yeah, Ovechkin, I've seen him playing since I was a wee lad in elementary school.
Yeah.
But
I was in high school when Ovechkin was a rookie, so but Ovi has always been a DC, and he's done all of this in one place. He has not played for any other team other than the Capitals.
And that is no cap.
The next one is that the Polar Bear, Pete Alonso, is staying in Queens as he signed a 2-year, I think it was like a 2-year deal with the Mets that he actually could opt out after the first year.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I don't have much to say about it because he kind of fell off last season. Like, I had him as one of my picks in fantasy baseball last season, and he was good for home runs during the weeks where he was hot, but then whenever he fell off for like a month, I was like, what the shit? How am I gonna get my home runs back up and beat these other people? And then this year I was like, you know what? I'm not going to invest much on the polar bear because he's not going to be doing much because he's either going to be hurt or just not or just underperforming. So I think this gives it more of a prove it, even though he's been there and done it. It's more of like a hey, can you do a little bit better than you did last year, and we'll pay you for it. Like I think that was smarter than like locking him in for like 10 years and it's like a $500 million uh contract for 10 years. That would have been probably a waste of money. Unless it was deferred like the Dodgers seem to do.
But I think it's a 2-year deal with an opt-out, so
Mhm.
it's nothing too crazy.
Yeah.
The next one, the Steelers will get a home game in Ireland this season, and next year the Rams are to host one in Melbourne, Australia. The Colts were already given one in not Munich, Berlin for this season. So the NFL is getting more international games, and in more different and in a wider variety of locations.
It's kind of funny how the Steelers got a home game in Ireland because the Yinzers seem like what, like a bunch of alcoholics, or am I getting that wrong? Because I think I've heard some famous stories from Pat McAfee over in
I'm
Yinzer.
sure there's Pat McAfee stories that would tell you a lot. The NBA has announced participants for this weekend's All-Star Saturday night and really weekend events. Notables for the celebrity game include Kai Cenat, Baron Davis on a team coached by Barry Bonds, and then Jerry Rice will have his San Francisco 49ers teammate at one point in time, team obliterator Terrell Owens, Matt Barnes, WWE superstar Bailey, Chris Brickley, Drewski, and Shabuzi on his team. I'm going to say for the All-Star Celebrity Game, I'm taking team Jerry Rice because Jerry's eating rice.
I think, if anything, I'm going to go with Team Bonds because you got Barry Bonds, which I don't know if he's really known for shooting the hoops or being a hooper. 2 Chainz would make sense. Baron Davis? Are you kidding me? You're gonna snub Baron like that? Kai Cenat seems like he would be really good at basketball, and that isn't racist. He just looks like a basketball player. He's got the dreads and everything. He's got the charisma.
Cenat is so short.
Well, how short was Quavo? Because he played a couple times in the celebrity game.
Let's see, Quavo's 5'10".
How tall is Kai Cenat then? Like 5'6", 5'5".
Kai Cenat is officially 5 foot. Well, Kai Cenat's real height is 5'4". Yes.
Oh, damn, I was close.
Kevin Hart is taller than him. Or about the same height. He's like 5'5" with a shoe on.
Okay, so Nat played for the New York Sky, which I believe is the D League, right?
You said which one?
The New York Sky. Isn't that like a D League?
You said which guy?
Kai
Or which
Cenat.
person?
It said that he played professional basketball for the LBA. Is that the...
I don't think that's like an actual like.
So it's
league.
kind of like the It's kind of like the UFL of the NBA.
No, so, like maybe not necessarily like. Little ballers.
Oh, kind of funny how that fits. He had 16 points per game, 24 rebounds, 2.3 assists per game, 2 steals per game, 2 blocks, a championship, 1 in the Little Ballers Association, and a 3-pointer. He's made 1 3-pointer, and his jersey was retired.
So I mean, he's So yeah, he definitely does have some chops basketball wise.
That's what I'm saying. Don't snub
Yeah.
Mr. Bonds. I think Bonds will probably have it over Rice, but maybe Jerry is onto something. He does like to eat rice.
All right, and then now the rising stars. Some notable players for each side here. The sophomores. We'll have Wemby, Amen Thompson, Brandon Miller, Jaime Jacques, Scoot Henderson, and then the
Good.
rookies will have Stephon Castle, Zach Eady, Dalton Connect, Alex Sarr, Zachary Risasher, and then the G League will have guys like Mac McClung, Reed Shepard, J.D. Davison, but most notably, the highlight's going to be the dunks of Mac McClung.
Yeah, I feel like there's no doubt about that. I thought they usually did the Rising Stars thing for like the first year people,
Yeah. I think some
but
guys also had to withdraw, so it's like Bub Carrington, Stephon Castle, Tristan De Silva. Um, but Reed Shepard's going to be real. I think Reed Shepard's going to be really good in this as well.
it should be an
For the G
interesting
League.
combination of jerseys to jersey swap with Grady Dick too.
Yeah. The slam. I caught where you were going with that. The slam dunk contest. The 4 participants this year are Andre Jackson Jr. of the Bucks, Matas Bazelis of the Bulls, Stephon Castle of the Spurs, and defending champion 2 times in a row in this case, Mac McClung, going for his three-peat. I probably am going to take Mac, but I would love to see what Stephon Castle brings to the table.
It would be interesting to see if the narrative of the three-peat is not a thing, like if McClung gets snubbed, kind of like how the Chiefs, kind of, yeah, whatever. We'll get into that later.
But meanwhile, another three-peat's going on, but this one does have 0 judges. As Damian Lillard will go for a three-peat in the three-point contest. Lillard headlines the field along with Jalen Brunson, Cade Cunningham, Darius Garland, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Cam Johnson, and Norman Powell. And the three-point contest has become the most entertaining thing in All-Star Saturday Night. It has become the
Ooh.
most entertaining thing because it is more about three-pointers made, and you either make it or you don't, and still a lot of elite shooters come into this contest, and a lot of the elite shooters that come in don't even have to be named Stephen Curry.
Um, can I talk about the
Yeah.
judges for the slam dunk contest after you're done talking about that?
Oh wait, are they? Wait, they've announced the judges of the dunk contest already?
It says here, judges and fan vote at the slam dunk contest. Hall of Famers Kevin Garnett, Tracy McGrady, former dunk contest participant Baron Davis, and two-time dunk contest champion Jason Richardson will serve as judges. So you got Baron Davis, Kevin Garnett, Tracy McGrady, and Jason Richardson all judging for the slam dunk contest.
Okay. I will say this right now. The Russian judge out of those 4 is going to be Kevin Garnett. If you know what I mean.
The one that is like a harder to judge person, like someone that literally will just go like F even though you did like the best you could.
Yeah, the Russian judge is someone who it says someone who plays favorites over the pretense of objectivity, but I think it's also like at a low score from the Russian judge. Yeah, it's like a person who brings strong bias to a process. I think the bias for Kevin Garnett is going to be like Like, it's normally normally you would think toward taller people, but it's like Kevin Garnett's going to be the tough judge to sway over.
Yeah.
But the 3-point contest, I love that it's you either get it or you don't. They've revamped the 3-point contest in a way that the competition's great. Great shooters come around in all shapes and sizes. And so the best shooter in the league doesn't even have to be in there. Doesn't even have to be in there. And you're still going to get a great competition. That is the beauty of what the 3-point contest is. And then the skills challenge. Instead of 3 teams of 3, it's 4 teams of 2. And the pairs are the Cavaliers with Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, the Rookies with Zachary Risasher and Alex Sarr, the Spurs with Chris Paul and Wemby, and the Warriors with Draymond Green and Moses Moody. I'm going to take CP3 and Wemby.
And this is for the
skills
challenge. That was always my favorite one, was the skills challenge. Besides the 3-point and the slam dunk, like seeing size, speed, and just overall athletic ability with the passing has always been interesting to me. That and just how fast you could do it or how efficient you could do it was always interesting thing. But the thing that really got me with the dunk contest was the obstacles. Like Blake Griffin jumping over the Kia, or the what was it?
It was a Kia. It was the hood of a Kia Optima. He didn't even go over the top of the car.
Yeah. That, and then seeing Dwight Howard back in the day doing the Superman thing, and then trying to go higher than what the NBA regulated basketball goal.
There was
going, where he like used a sticker to touch and show how his wingspan was done. The Vince Carter dunk contest the iconic dunk contest with Vince Carter.
Oh, you realize that even though Blake Griffin won that dunk contest where he jumped over the hood of the Optima, where basically Kenny Smith just had that up with theatrics with a choir. JaVale McGee actually set a Guinness World Record in that dunk contest. He dunked 3 basketballs in one jump.
That was cool too. Yeah. I think the creativity has gone down a little bit though in recent years, mainly because there's not as many people that want to contest in it. Be a contestant.
Yeah, nobody in the NBA, none of the big names in the NBA are doing it.
I want LeBron to do it at least once. God damn it!
Oh, LeBron!
I'm calling you out, LeBron.
If you would have asked LeBron about that maybe 20 years ago and called him out, okay. But now that he's 40, oh no.
Give some nostalgia to your fans.
None of these. Yeah, here's the thing. None of these NBA players right now are throwing what professional dunkers are doing. If an NBA player decides to pull out one of the professional dunkers with like the scorpion dunk, they'll win. They'll win because minus people watching professional dunkers and doing it, they haven't seen it before out of an NBA player actually being able to do the scorpion. So it just comes down to really, like, what are the good dunks anymore? Like, because all these people are doing now is just trying to jump over a person. Most of the time now it just becomes Shaq. Like, everybody wants to just jump over Shaq.
What I'm thinking, because back in the day with NBA Live, I remember so many times back in the day when I would play it on my PS2, I would try to I think it was NBA Live 05 with the. I don't know if it was at the Rockets arena or what, but I just remember there was a thing you could do where you could launch the basketball all the way up to one of the big jumbotrons, and then time it just right enough to where you could do like a crazy dunk with it, and you would always get a 50 every time as long as you didn't try to repeat it. So you could go from the left jumbotron to the right jumbotron and do the same dunk, and the judges were like, "Woo, yeah, he did it. He committed to the bit." And I remember the craziness with that, and just remember memorizing all like the different buttons that you had to do for that. And now they kind of like make it a Guitar Hero esque NBA slam dunk, but that
Oh wow!
that's my nostalgia from back in the day. But yeah, point being, I think they need to go outside the box on these dunks because there's only so many times you can spin around and then try to attempt a dunk and make it look cool or be awesome. I think if Matt McClung can think more outside the box and get out of his comfort zone, I think he'd probably have a chance at repeat.
Oh, here's the fun part now. The the actual NBA All-Star game is going to be a tournament-based thing. Candace Parker will be the general manager of the team that wins the Rising Stars Challenge. So the winner of the Rising Stars will will also play on Sunday. But here are the teams. You have Team Shaq, which consists of LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Jason Tatum, Anthony Davis, who will not play, Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard, James Harden, Jaylen Brown, and actually instead of Anthony Davis, he will be replaced by Kyrie Irving. Then Team Kenny is Ant-Man, Jalen Brunson, Jaren Jackson Jr., Jalen Williams, Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Cade Cunningham, and Tyler Hero. And then Team Chuck will have Trae Young replacing Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Wemby, Pascal Siakam, Alperen Sengun, Karl Anthony Towns, and Donovan Mitchell. I think the winner will be. I think it's going to be likely. Probably Chuck. It's either going to be Shaq or Chuck. What's your thoughts on that?
For the bracket for the people, so it's Shaq, Chuck,
Yeah.
and who else? Candace Parker.
You have Kenny. You have Kenny the Jet. Yeah,
Okay.
all three inside NBA guys that are not Elevator Ernie Johnson.
Rest in peace.
No,
I know
Ernie
he's not
Johnson's
dead.
not
I'm not.
dead.
I'm just saying rest in peace. So he got snubbed on the on the format because I think that would have been interesting to have all those guys. But
Then who else would come up with the Nito stat of the night? Presented by nobody.
yeah, I don't know who to pick. I think it's between Chuck and Shaq because Chuck is always on.
Chuck's
doing some
got all the
misfit stuff.
international. Chuck has all the international greats, and then Shaq has all the veterans that everybody in America likes. So it's just gonna come down to who really plays worth a care,
Yeah.
and see if this actually does anything to improve it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be surprised if this doesn't go for much longer, just like the Pro Bowl games.
All right. What else do we have?
And then the last but not least, on Sunday, the other thing that happened just before the Super Bowl was that Hubie Brown called his last NBA game of his career at 91 years old. And man, that is a long career for Huey Brown.
Yeah. Dude, I
And
know this guy that works with me at my work. He's like in the upper 90s and age. I think he's like 96, and he's still working. And it's like, how? How are you? This isn't impressive. But yeah, like being able to call games at the age of 91 like that is insane. And I wonder if Dick Vitale is going to surpass that at some point.
Dickie V, baby!
Because he actually did get cleared to broadcast
Yeah,
again.
he's cleared to. He's clear. He was just cleared. I think they just had his first major game back, and I believe Dickie V is. Oh, Dickie V's a few years off at 85.
All right, baby, let's go.
It's a diaper dandy. Oh my gosh. All
Yeah.
right, and before we move on to a couple of recap things, a little bit of housekeeping that we have going on at this moment, and that is that following this episode, there will be no podcast for 2 weeks as we're taking a little bit of time to just kind of recharge the old batteries from the football season.
Also,
And
content's gonna be
MLB,
kind of slow for like the next couple
yeah,
weeks
yeah, you're
because
going to have a
baseball will be
little bit
coming.
there's a little bit of slow concept, but it gives us time to build up to our MLB previews, which will kick off in the month of March.
Yeah, boy.
Yep, and we will be doing it. I'm gonna say kind of kind of our little old-fashioned way, but we will be starting with the Central divisions.
Yes, sir.
So we will have the AL and NL Central. So we'll have about a couple of weeks to kind of really for me, it's looking into what the NL Central. I will have the NL Central, and Ruckus will gladly take his own division with the AL Central.
Yeah, y'all know what it is. You'll probably get my very sarcastic input as a dirty Royals fan, but
Huh.
we'll see.
But we will be starting MLB previews at that point, and there is potential that with MLB The Show coming out in the middle of next month, that that there will be new waves of content on the way. Um, March to October right now is still TBD as to whether or not they decide to bring it back for another year. But I know that there is potential for some Road to the Show content on at least the Spanish end of things. So,
I'm kind of
and yes,
boycotting the Game Pass thing with them not having it, but we'll see. If I feel compelled to pay the $70 or whatever it is for the game, sure. I'm not gonna pay early like I did the first year whenever the game branched out to from PlayStation to Xbox and Nintendo Switch and
oh
other
yeah,
respective
no,
consoles.
I'm not. I was able to get it early, but since they're also, I think, taking out the physical, like that extra physical hat, I probably will just do the standard edition again this year. I'll do the standard edition this year. So that is something.
Yeah. I just like the convenience of not having to pay up to $70 for that game because I can just get it for $20 a month through Game Pass. But tis what it is. I'll probably end up picking it up, but I'm gonna be a little bit hesitant on the purchase. What
Oh
do we
no,
got now?
I have no hesitations. I just want to. The biggest thing is just the hesitation of whether to really continue with it. It's unknown at the moment, but I'm gonna keep an eye. I am gonna keep things abreast and keep an eye.
Yeah,
We are now officially going to unveil. No, not yet. Not yet. We are still in non-NFL mode as we go into the Eastwood segment of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
All right, Spennis. Yeah, I know you're trying to
And
have me wipe.
I pulled a string. I pulled a string. I dropped the Uncle Charlie so good.
It's
But
okay,
it is
guys. Let's just address the elephant in the room. Yes, the Chiefs
no,
lost. Yes,
breaks, breaks,
yes,
breaks.
Super Bowl 59 wasn't what we wanted, but at the same time, I'm taking it from a realistic standpoint of how we performed and how we could have gotten it, and I have come to terms with it, and I'm not that angry about it. I'm not going to yell at Spennis for choosing the Eagles over it. The Eagles were just a better freaking team, okay? Anyways, let's get back into what we actually were going to talk about before Spennis pulled the rug on me with the good, bad, and the ugly.
Flag. Personal foul. Unnecessary sidebar.
The refs didn't help.
I just said unnecessary sidebar because
Alright.
I was trying to call the breaks because I was like, no, I needed to pull the string because I'm like, let's save this.
I was
The
addressing the
NBA
elephant, my guy. But anyways, let's keep going. Let's not
Oh
ruin
yeah.
the flow any more than we need to.
Oh, but the good this week is this NBA trade deadline was bonkers.
Yeah, Luca going
I
to
mean,
LA was not on my bingo
we
card.
talked about the blockbuster trade that wasn't on our bingo card with Luka Doncic to LA, Jimmy Butler to Golden State,
That one
De'Aaron
seemed like
Fox.
it made sense.
Well, De'Aaron Fox going to the Spurs. I think it just moves De'Aaron Fox to a 2-guard spot.
I think it's
Chris
just better for
Middleton
him.
to DC, Kuzma to the Bucks, Brandon Ingram to Toronto. There were a lot of notable deals, and one that ended up getting rescinded as Mark Williams failed a physical with the Lakers, which prevented him from being traded from Charlotte, where Charlotte would have received Dalton Connect, the rookie, Cam Reddish, and 2 picks, one of them being an unprotected first-round pick. So the Lakers regain draft capital, but lack a center. Which, this is just straight comedy at this point.
I mean, the Rockets did it like 3 or 4 years ago, and that didn't pan out for him. But he
I
still
mean,
tried to
Golden
experiment
State,
with
and
it.
there was a point where Golden State even played small. But how small is too small? Especially when you're dealing with a 7'4" Victor Wembanyama. Whenever you play in the Spurs. But that's a digression for another time. The bad in sports this week. Unfortunately, our condolences to the mother of Tiger Woods in this situation. But
Tiger
Tiger Woods is
Woods.
still processing the loss of his mother, which he was planning to play in the Genesis Invitational. But in spite of those efforts, Tiger just has now officially made himself unavailable to play because he is not quite ready to step back out on the golf course. Understandable, as yes, he is still grieving. And sometimes whenever you're dealing with grieving, it's like, yeah, there's a little bit of a mental health depression that comes along with that. And it happens. I think you got to let time render its course, and I don't know how long this is going to take. But as far as that goes, before the first major, he's got about a little over a month and a half. As normally the first weekend in April is the Masters, where he would try and play for another green jacket. So in short, there's still time. And then he's still doing TGL stuff as well.
I was
So
about to say, what the hell happened to TGL?
wait, I think TGL's still existing though.
Yeah, I just haven't heard anything about it in a while because of the Super Bowl and all that stuff. That
Oh, actually watched a little. I watched a little bit of it, and it is surprisingly very interesting. But it really is, like we said, golf simulation on steroids.
yeah, their website's a little buggy though. Like if you're looking for just the results, they'll show you the match schedule, but they won't show you the results for it. Like they show you the times for them. So like this one for the Atlanta Drive and then the LA Golf Club, they show like the time and where it's going, but they don't show you actively what the score is, kind of like what ESPN would have. So that's a little bit odd, but it's okay, I guess.
Yeah,
But yeah.
but I think even watching it, it's not a terrible watch considering. But it looks like more of a golf like a golf thing that it seems like an everyman would do in terms of training. But you can tell that you don't get as much of the you don't get as much of the physics in the indoor arena as you would actually outside.
Yeah. There's definitely limitations.
Yes, there are limitations to the inside because it's like stuff that you would normally see as like a standard, like, oh, this is a good shot outside, a shot that would look all right outside. Nah, that was nowhere near as good inside the golf simulation.
It did help injury wise though, and just stamina. Like you don't have to walk all the way across a golf course just to hit a
Oh,
hole.
oh yeah, definitely. And
Anyways.
now we can cross over the. Oh no, I missed a thing. We completely missed a step. Downright ugly in this week.
Well, first of all, you're supposed to trigger it kind of like Beetlejuice, where you go, "Oh no, oh no, oh no," and then all of a sudden, someone bursts through the bricks and goes, "Oh yeah!" I was hoping you would do another "Oh no," but that's okay.
Yeah, I wasn't. I knew better. I knew better. We're not dealing with the Kool-Aid man here.
Aww.
I knew better. And the ugly for this week is Mavericks fans and their response to the Anthony Davis Luka Doncic trade that wasn't on our bingo card. But when something like that happens that wasn't on your bingo card, more things that would have completely been thought about your bingo card of fans completely rioting or
I mean,
yes, because they
they have a right to
protested.
be mad. The same thing happened when LeBron went from Cleveland to Miami. People were lighting their jerseys on fire. They were all like, "F you, LeBron! You left us, you traitor!" And now the fact that Doncic is getting traded to the LA Lakers from a team that put him on the map from the Mavericks, you would understand why Mavericks fans would be pissed off.
But
I
they
would be too.
basically.
Imagine if
Oh,
Patrick
yeah.
Mahomes got traded from the Chiefs to like, let's say a rival like the Broncos, or like just he decided to go somewhere else where they'd give him more money and he had more uh hierarchy over the management to get like big names and stuff like that, like a high market team. I feel like Chiefs fans would be very pissed off if that happened, but
Yeah.
also probably
What
very understanding because whatever.
what proved to be the biggest difference maker here is that while the protests that involve all the jersey burning are generally from people or from players who left that particular team on their own volition. LeBron taking his talents to South Beach because of the decision. Kevin Durant choosing Golden State after they went 73-9 the week before. Or the year before, like pretty much.
They had a big three. They had Westbrook,
yeah.
James Harden, and KD,
Yeah.
and then whenever they lost
But
in the
Harden was traded. Harden was traded. Harden was traded away.
It was the Eastern Conference Finals, right? Against the Heat. When it was wasn't it between the Thunder and the Heat? Or am I?
Well, there was that. There was that, but then I think Harden got traded some point along the way.
Yeah, to the Rockets, I believe.
Yeah, it was the Rockets. But I'm talking like Kevin Durant after that, like after getting beat in the
Eastern Conference Finals.
Western Conference Finals, he then goes and says, "Oh, I'm going to go to Golden State."
Yeah, and then win all those championships.
Yeah, a whole two.
He had a torn ACL in one of them. Or Achilles, whatever it is.
Still a whole two of them. But this is different. Like, this is an exception to it. Because this is it's basically the team and the front office of the Dallas Mavericks sans Mark Cuban putting a Texas-sized wedge between the team and fan base.
Yeah.
And they're saying, "Oh, it's the culture. Oh, it's the culture that we made this change." No. It's about the dollar. If you really want to break it down to dollars and cents, you had a Supermax deal with Luka that would have been over $300 million.
And now he's not eligible for it because he got traded.
And now he's not eligible for any kind of it because he got traded away. You basically ripped a team of a potential superstar, really a megastar for that that was really a culture of it, like the culture of it, all because you're like, defense wins championships. Though true. It was not the right move for you to make.
Yeah, especially if you could have gotten more in that deal. Like, you could have not only gotten Anthony Davis, but you could have gotten, like, D'Angelo Russell, Austin Reeves.
Oh, Russell was already gone.
Either way, like, you could have picked... My point is, you could have picked anybody else to add with Anthony Davis in that trade, and that would have made a little bit more sense down the line. But
oh yeah, you basically got so desperate to say, "Oh, we're gonna trade away Luka. We're throwing Luka Doncic out there," but yet the team that you went to for it in the 11th hour without even Jason Kidd truly knowing, he's like, "Oh, Jason Kidd not gonna let." Jason Kidd probably didn't even know that you were getting rid of Luka Doncic.
Dude, Mark Cuban is literally the Scrooge of the NBA. Ebenezer Scrooge. Bah humbug, Spanish.
Mark Cuban? You basically just called Mark Cuban Ebenezer Scrooge of the NBA?
Yes, because he was like, yeah, I'll trade one of my better players that I could have protected more, and instead was like, hey man, we really don't like this Luka Doncic fellow. Can we can we figure out what you want to give to us? Oh, Anthony Davis, that's all? Are you sure? I mean, I feel bad for just taking him
Mark
and not
Cuban.
Austin Reeves or someone else. Like, gosh.
Oh, here was the funny part. Mark Cuban was actually the person that was trying to stop it from happening.
Because the GM of the Mavericks was like, "Yo, I think this would be a great idea," and then Mark Cuban's like, "No,
No,
don't."
no, because it was absolute. He's like, "Oh, this is a great idea." No, it was absolutely not a great idea. It's like all of a sudden you got Barney Stinson saying that this trade is going to be legend. Wait for it, dairy. And Cuban's just like, no, this is not going to end well
And
because
then
you've had fans protest, you got fans protesting, and then the very first game that Anthony Davis is back in, he gets hurt.
yep, it was just like, okay, you're trading for an injury-prone guy that's older versus a kid that just apparently wasn't in the best shape or whatever. I would laugh my ass off if Luka Doncic turns into the Mookie Betts version of that, where Mookie Betts got traded from Boston to LA and actually played some of his best baseball with the Dodgers, still playing, by the way. And now you have
Yeah,
this where it's almost kind of similar, where it's like a team from a prime player from another part of the league is coming towards another part, which is the Lakers, which I think the Lakers are in the yeah, they're both in the Western
yeah, they're in the
Conference. So,
Western Conference along with them.
but yeah, seeing that, it'd be funny if Luca just balled out and played absolutely amazing and won a championship with the Lakers. That would be hilarious. That would tell
Oh, what's
you.
funny about this? The Lakers are a 5 seed right now if the season were to end today, and Dallas would be in the play-in. And their
Uh-oh.
first game would be with the Los Angeles Clippers. Yeah. Yeah, there's that. But besides that, it just is it was an absolutely bad idea. Like the ugly has been more so that yeah, the Maverick fans have responded saying, "Yeah, you messed up. Fire Nico, sell the team." And it's almost and I feel their pain as a Commanders fan because of just simply we dealt with 20 years of toxic ownership that all the ownership cared about was making a dollar, was chasing the dollar. It's like Dan Snyder was about the dollar bill, y'all, instead of about I'ma hoist this Lombardi, y'all.
Wait, are you saying that Dan Schneider is Wu-Tang because of the dollar bills, the cream, get the money, dollar bill, y'all. And then the Commanders are 20
Yeah,
years hardly struggling. Survival's got me bugging. I'm on the line. I probably butchered those lyrics, but I remember it a lot from the game Watch Dogs and also just listening to it with the homies.
I mean, granted, I think the philosophy that the Wu-Tang Clan was definitely there in Dan Snyder's philosophy and talking about cream, but also like Wu-Tang, Josh Harris knew how to diversify the asset. Oh, diversify your portfolio.
All right. So let's get into the film room now. Are we?
Yeah. Yep, we're good to go here. Oh, it was diversify your bonds from the Chappelle Show.
Oh.
But yes, I have soared once again.
No. Not only you have soared, but the Eagles secondary soared once again. I literally, every time I saw an interception, I just imagined like an eagle swooping in and just grabbing the ball, and I'm just like, God damn, how did they do it? I was like, all right, surely during after halftime we'll be a better team and actually score it a damn point. And then I was like, okay, we're doing all right. And when I was watching it live, I was very tired, so I kind of passed out after the fourth quarter. But it is what it is. Everyone had a good time.
I think at this point right now, I feel like I'm Conor McGregor with saying, "Give me all the belts,"
the
because I'm already possessing 2 belts at this point. This film room is my 3rd belt this NFL season. Give me all the belts.
The
Give
one
me all the belts.
The 1-3-peat that got away.
Well, I ended up winning 2 fantasy football games, and this. I mean, this is only my second. This is my only second film room title, and we actually alternated. So
I feel like right now I am like Rambo in the first one where he puts the gunpowder on the wound and then just goes like, yeah, it hurts, but yeah, I'm tough. I'm mentally tough. Honestly, Eagles had a better game than we did. That's a no shit Sherlock at that point, because I don't know, pardon my French, I don't know what the fuck the Chiefs were trying to do. They could have run the ball. They had the talent that they had in the run game. You had Kareem Hunt, for F's sake. You had Pacheco, which he had been kind of playing not the same energy, it seemed, before. Before he got hurt, he was pretty spot on. After he gets hurt, it's like, well, there was question marks of if he's taking it easier on himself or just the league has just adapted to his ways. But also Pirine, I feel like Pirine was probably the most efficient during the Super Bowl with the one run he had. But negatives aside, I think just to get into the position of being able to compete for a Super Bowl after the people that tried to do the 3-peat that had tried it before, like the Raiders, the Patriots, and like a few others, it shows the true determination that comes with trying to go for a 3-peat. And yeah, it didn't happen the way we wanted it to happen, but honestly, it shows what we need to improve on a big standpoint of that, because we had that same growing pain with Super Bowl 55 where this pretty much the same shit happened, just different toilet, and the better defense won and they stumped us. If we were to like not think too big on plays and just kind of do the natural shit, we probably would have, I think, had a better shot of maybe tying the game. But it sucks that it didn't happen until like late third quarter, early fourth quarter, where we actually started scoring. No one could catch the damn ball, and it felt like last year where we were dropping the ball all the time, and it was annoying as shit because you'd be like, "Oh, a big play where Marquise Valdez or Marquez Valdez Scantling gets a deep ball in the Eagles game and then drops it, and then like a bunch of other dropped things from Kadarius Toney. Like it felt like that all over again, but it was like masked for the longest time. But that's the end of my rant as a tired Chiefs fan that just wanted the three-peat to happen so that we can cement our team as one of those ones that had a huge dynasty and legacy and was awesome and did better than what any other team could. But it is what it is. We sucked for a while, and now all of a sudden we got better with Mahomes and talent, but whatever. Anyways, let's keep going.
All right, and moving on to our high heat, where we first, before we really break down into the Super Bowl, we go into the NFL honors results from this past Thursday. Our Pro Football Hall of Fame selections are Antonio Gates, Eric Allen, Jared Allen, so Ruckus getting a Chief in.
Yes, sir, but he was actually advertised as a Viking, so screw the Vikings. Anyways.
Started out his career in KC, though.
Yeah, I know.
And then Sterling Sharp. So now Unk is happy with this one because Sterling finally gets in.
And he doesn't have to yell at Skip.
This was the smallest class since 2005, as only 4 members made it. Eli Manning missed the cut. And there's potential for Eli to miss another cut next year because one of those major names that's coming up into the Hall of Fame ballot for the first time next year, Drew Brees.
Also, with that, is it kind of like the MLB Hall of Fame where they after a couple of nominations you get eliminated, or is it just you just stay in there until you finally get voted in?
I think you got to get at least 80% of favorable votes with a maximum of 5 and no fewer than 3 making it. They've got multiple you have multiple tiers. You have multiple tiers and you're down to the finalists, yeah. So they were down to the 15 modern era finalists to be able to get in. And Sterling Sharp was a senior representative. The Walter Payton Man of the Year is Eric Armstead of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Good for him.
The Moment of the Year was the Hail Mary from Jaden Daniels to Noah Brown against the Bears. The Comeback Player of the Year and coming back from a wrist injury, Joe Burrow.
That was well deserved.
Yes. Although Darnold, I think, earned it in a different capacity. The NFL doesn't have a Most Improved Player of the Year award. They need to. Assistant Coach of the Year. I think Vic Fangio got robbed. Ben Johnson of the Lions got it.
Was the defense really dominant for the Eagles during the playoffs, or was it just the Super Bowl? Because I didn't really see it in the highlights, but maybe it was more so because
they were the number 1 defense in the league.
Maybe I just snubbed them. I just didn't see much of that happening.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they were a really good defense. They were number 1 in the league going into the postseason. Coach of the year, Kevin O'Connell. I wish it was DQ, but Kevin O'Connell.
I wish it was Andy Reid because of just the sheer amount of plays that he could sneak up on you with and whatnot, and the fact that he got a team to their first ever potential three-peat that didn't happen. I think that would have been cool, but I get why they did it. Gave Kevin O'Connell the
win expectancy,
his mentality and the way the NFL kind of does its weird parody of the league can really make things weird. But also he turned a team that had a quarterback that was kind of iffy and then later tore his ACL and Kirk Cousins and then had to go through that growing pain of backups. You had a guy that had been a backup for a while after starting with the Jets and Sam Darnold actually ball out. No one thought that was going to happen on their 2024 bingo card, but the man leading that, Kevin O'Connell, he's doing pretty damn good. He's doing some good things.
But
Anyways.
then you also had Dan Quinn, who, though the turnaround of the Commanders seemed very
Dramatic.
apparent on your 2024 bingo
That was
card.
that was very dramatic though too. How that changed.
It was
'Cause
a
no one thought it was gonna be that quick.
happened that fast. Yeah, and the same thing with Sean Payton, who was also a finalist.
I think he got lucky with Nix because I had a feeling that Bo Nix was just kind of like a show-off quarterback. It gave me the chills of Justin Fields because when I saw Justin Fields tape during like the college football playoff and just playing, I was like, "Oh shit, this is like Patrick Mahomes 2.0." And then I didn't see Bo Nix's stuff until he started getting scary good during the last
Bo
week of the
Nix was a
season
very
against
experienced
the
quarterback.
Chiefs. That guy is a freaking gunslinger. And the same goes with Daniels. Like they can all throw it deep, like they have the arm, and it's awesome to see. No
Bo Nix,
discount.
and I think that Sean Payton knew that he wanted Bo Nix. He knew that right away. I think Bo Nix was truly he was truly a Sean Payton guy.
He makes the wide receivers look good.
And then Jaden Daniels ultimately ending up being a Cliff Kingsbury guy.
All right, defensive
Our
player
rookies of the year.
Oh shit,
Our,
my bad.
our rookies of the year on the defensive side was Jared Verse of the Rams. And on the offensive side, Jaden Daniels of the Commanders, as expected. Defensive player of the year. Though most people would have thought giving it to Trey Hendrickson, Patrick Surtain the second of the Broncos, as we thought and picked ourselves.
Who are the other nominees for that? I'm curious.
Zach Bond. I think Zach Bond was on the list. Trey Hendrickson, T.J. Watt. I don't think
Shit.
Myles Garrett was in the conversation.
I would have just said Zach Bond instead of Patrick Surtain, but I can see why people like Patrick Surtain more, though.
No, I thought Bond was another one that I think really would have been on the MIP list, the most improved player list, along with Darnold. Surtain locks down a whole section of the field. You hold Jamar Chase, who won the wide receiver triple crown, to virtually nothing. Yeah, you're shutting down a player who is definitely an offensive player of the year candidate with a triple crown. Yeah. You earned it based on that alone. And the offensive player of the year was Saquon Barkley of the Eagles.
Honestly, I think that would have made more sense for him to be offensive versus MVP. He balled out, but Josh Allen was the more deserving.
Yeah, I think Josh Allen had a heck of a year. I personally thought Saquon Barkley just simply, though the quarterbacks were great,
The consistency of Saquon was probably better.
The real run of Saquon, I think, was more worth it. And then give Offensive Player of the Year to Jamar Chase. For a
controversial.
Wide receiver triple crown, my guy. It's the same thing they did with Cooper Kupp.
Well, at least you don't have to deal with those damn elves.
But the NFL honors, if you want to talk about the actual show, Snoop Dogg should host this thing for a longer term. than just this
shizzle.
1 year.
Oh shizzle, my dizzle.
And the cameos that came involved with that. I mean, bringing out Jelly Roll in a Titans jersey and helmet for one segment.
Because somebody save me. That's the Titans mantra right there. Saving
my God.
myself.
Oh my
I've been
God.
long gone, asking for help. Yeah, that's literally the Titans right now, because they're asking Mike Bergonzi for help. And Eminem is walking them through, which that's Mike Bergonzi.
And then you've got and then another thing you've got on top of that, it's like, oh, AJ Brown was reading Inner Excellence. Malik Neighbors is reading the Keyshawn Johnson book. Malik, what's it called? Just give me the ball.
Or it could be it could be another book. It's like quarterbacks for dummies, or he like gives it to Daniel Jones, and then Daniel's like, okay, so look pretty well playing, okay.
But I mean, it was like the book segment was funny in talking of that, based on the AJ Brown thing. Snoop Dogg with his joke. I love the Jaden Daniels is so, like, he looks like one, but it's like Jaden Daniels is so chill that weed smokes him to relax. Yes, Snoop Dogg actually said that.
Yeah,
as a joke.
I mean, the DOG definitely has had some good old weed, smoking that Indo, sipping on gin and juice, indica for couch, sativa for whenever you just feel like being active.
But it was definitely it was a solid show that I think I would love to see Snoop Dogg get another year of it, or at least another like alternate year, like alternate with another person. And then some people are like, nah, bring Steve Harvey back. Bring Steve Harvey back. Or
and
actually,
now we
I think
have the Family Feud, where I look like Mr. Potato Head as a human.
Oh my God. But I think another fun one that they need to bring on, bring both Colin Jost and Michael Che from SNL onto one.
Or some
And have
older
them
weekend update people like Seth Meyers, or like
they've had Seth. I think they've had Seth Meyers before.
What about Will Forte or Bill Hader? Because then Bill Hader could play the dude that like reviews gay strip clubs. I think I just forgot what it was.
I thought the Colin Jost Michael Che, because I think they could actually do a good legitimate joke swap on that.
They probably could too. I was just saying we could not limit ourselves to just that. But
I think there was I was just throwing those two just simply because of Weekend Update.
Mm-hmm.
But now to the real thing, the Super Bowl, and the Eagles defeating the Chiefs 40-22. I do not believe the score reflected what this showed, especially with the Chiefs scoring against the second unit.
Yeah, and honestly, part of me has this like weird question or thought in my mind of because in the first one, in Super Bowl 57, the whole like talk of the town was that the turf wasn't great, because it was one of those ones where they roll it outside to let it nurture itself and naturally grow, and then roll back in and then play on it. Part of me wonders if that shit would have happened again if it wasn't at State Farm Stadium. Like, if they were going to be that angry the first time. Because part of me feels like the defense was pretty damn good with the offense with the Eagles during that segment. Part of me wonders if that wasn't an issue. Maybe it would have been even scary. Like if their defense was as scary as they were in '59. Because my God, it seems like
Oh yeah.
they were overclocked, and what that means is like it's clocked over whatever the rated speed is. Like in the PC community, CPUs or your Intel chips or AMD can be overclocked to get more performance out of it. I feel like it was that. It was, or in the simpleton approach of it, it's like being jacked up on Mountain Dew. I thought the Eagles were so jacked up on Mountain Dew, like they had the reads of Mahomes. Like there were a couple times where I saw the interceptions, I was like, God damn, like that was good. Like how? And then
Vic Fangio was a head coach of the Denver Broncos, so he saw it twice a year.
but also Vic Fangio screwed that up with the Dolphins a year before that, whenever they're in the wild card, and they all. But to be fair, they also were playing in frigid temperatures.
Yeah.
I don't know
But
how they
here's
got that
the other
game to
thing
go.
I'm going to throw at you. Here's the other thing I'm going to throw at you. I think the key to really the Chiefs' failure, and we were talking about it earlier.
Yeah.
I think they let the leash of Joe Tooney being the left tackle on that offensive line just out just a little bit too far.
So I think they were going safer than sorry for the most part because they
Oh
trusted
yeah,
it enough. But
Tooney's a guard.
I see. I
He is
see.
truly a guard.
I know what you're. I know what you're putting down. Personally, so in the question that we're about to get to, I'll have questions with the tackle spot because DJ Humphries he came off of a torn Achilles the year before with the Cardinals and then got shipped away. They released him because his injury history was not so great. Before DJ Humphries, we had Kingsley Suamataia, and apparently he was regressing rather than progressing as a rookie tackle that we got from, I believe, BYU, Brigham Young University, something like that.
You say BYU?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he regressed. Wanya Morris regressed a little bit, so they're like, okay, the guy that we pay an assload of money to, which is probably about 40 or 50 million, is playing right guard. Let's see what he does at left tackle. Okay, well, we got him at left tackle. He's doing okay. He's doing enough, but at some point, we need to figure this out. That's my, like, I guess, Norm McDonald impersonation there. But anyways, I think the offensive tackles are a big issue. I'm curious to see what they could have done with Kareem Hunt, or if they didn't feel comfortable putting him in an awkward position of getting like bulldozed away.
Oh, I think there was very limited affordability at a certain point early in that game for the Chiefs to even run the football because they got popped in the mouth early. The tackles,
Tooney.
the pocket for Patrick Mahomes got folded in like a lawn chair. I
would have said it got compacted by one of those pressure things, like those. Like
like a baler. Yeah. Oh yeah. That basically like the baler came in and just crushed a bunch of cardboard.
Or like crushed like a bunch of like gumballs or something, and they just saw them all squished, or like the
that's where I was
chamber.
getting at here. Yeah, but this coming straight from a tweet from J.J. Watt. Shout out Justin James Watt from future Hall of Fame defensive lineman. And here's what he said. The Eagles didn't blitz the Chiefs one time. Similar to the Bucks, what they did in the 2021 Super Bowl. As Ruckus had mentioned earlier. And I noticed it too, actually, as I was watching. But it's not... But if you're thinking blitz versus no blitz against the Chiefs, J.J. Watt says, but it's not as simple as blitz versus no blitz. To win with just a 4-man rush, you have to have monsters on the edge and beasts in the middle. Great edge rushers can be neutralized with no middle push. Dominant interior rushers can be thwarted with no edge threat. The combination of both is what takes away escape lanes, suffocates the pocket, and ultimately dominates games. And add in some lockdown guys on the back end, linebackers who can cover, and you're living the defensive dream. Philadelphia was the number 1 defense in the league. And this here, like what J.J. Watt just perfectly illustrated in a simple formula, is very much what I was truly thinking as I knew the Eagles had a number 1 defense. And they could rotate out edges all they wanted. And they were rotating them out. They were rotating them out and still getting the exact same form of effectiveness. Now that is what made the Eagles scary.
Also, what also made the Eagles scary was the amount of deep passes thrown versus actually giving it to Saquon. I thought that was pretty insane that as a defense we couldn't actually stay on our man. We just kind of were like, oh, we'll just give them a little bit of room. They're not going to catch it. Oh, shit, they caught it. That really frustrated me when A.J. Brown would keep on getting those passes. I'm like, how are you just leaving this guy so open? Why aren't you adjusting and putting more pressure on these people? Like, that part didn't make sense to me at all.
And that also is a part of game plan. Because the Eagles' offense is so two-pronged. Like, you're basically at this point, the Eagles' offense is such a pick your poison type of offense. Both poisons are deadly. It's just the question more so was not how can you kind of take the lesser of two evils here. It's no, you're taking you're taking a poison and you're dying either way. It's just a matter of whether you're gonna die by Saquon running it down your throat or Jalen Hurts picking you apart. And the Eagle and the Chiefs in this game, I think they could have very well have over game planned for Saquon.
I think also it helps that last year L'Jarius Sneed was there to like help be like the big man on campus, like the commander, and help with like the harder situations with like the wide receivers. Like that, I feel like that helped our secondary dramatically because of the mentality of L'Jarius Sneed and also just the hard work that the defense was putting in. If it was like that, I feel like it would have been more dramatic on the defense as far as the wideouts and the protections. I don't know if it would make much of a help because of how L'Jarius Sneed has done after being a Chief. He was hurt and didn't really play much. I'd be interested to see if the Titans cut L'Jarius Sneed and then maybe the Chiefs pick him up later on if he slips with another team and they don't want to pay the fees or whatever. It'd be cool if he came back. I wouldn't be mad.
I just think that the Eagles were built, like they were just built in such a way that
for sure
that as an opponent you had to play absolutely perfect, mistake free.
And Mahomes clearly didn't do that. He got picked 6. He got picked a little bit later on, and when he threw a ball to like Kelsey or D-Hop, there was no catch usually, which they would always have pretty much every time. But I think they were all shell shocked by the fact that Philly defense just soared through. Like, they looked like a bunch of warriors about to like get from Death Valley or Midway into the battlefield, just going through it, they just devoured the Chiefs, and it sucks that it all happened, but it's I don't know what's gonna happen. There's rumors already that Trey Smith is going to get signed to the Bears, and I have a feeling that might be something good that the Chiefs had to get away from with Trey Smith because of just his injury history, but also I think he would have been too much to pay for, depending on what he actually signs for. If he goes for a team-friendly deal, that'd be cool, but I just feel like he might go for the money at this point, kind of like Nick Allegretti did and Andrew Wiley did before for the offensive line for the Chiefs. Anyways, let's move on to the
famous
halftime show.
But also the famous thing here is that everyone has a. Mike Tyson basically said it was like everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, and I think that the Chiefs' game plan somehow kind of got thrown a little more out the window when the Eagles, I think, scored first and put the first punch right to the face.
Yeah, I gave myself the mental state of, okay, we'll probably do something at halftime. Let's see what happens at halftime. Because it usually is when the Chiefs put on the gas and just go all gas, no brakes. And then try to do something. But the problem with that was the offense didn't really come alive until the second string people on the Eagles were actually playing because
especially especially on the backside, because that backside was locking them down.
They were kicking our ass this whole game, and I was not happy with it. But it is what it is. I've at least learned what the Chiefs didn't do right, and trying to make sense of what could happen realistically as far as who they can sign, who they can draft, or who they could let go to get more opportunities to draft better people, kind of like when Tyreek Hill got traded to the Dolphins, and that turned into McDuffie and a few other people, but mainly McDuffie.
McDuffie, yeah.
Or actually Pacheco, I think was part of that too, but
Pacheco might have been, yeah.
But yeah, like, you gotta be bold about it, and I feel like it's okay to piss fans off as long as you make a difference with it. And a lot of people right now with the Mavericks are upset that they traded their best player for another player, but you just gotta see what happens later on in the future to see if that actually benefits. Anyways, let's keep going.
And I think the most crucial move for the Chiefs is, honestly, check up with Kelce. Check up with Travis Kelce to see if he's going to be down for one more. I mean, Travis Kelce basically was like, okay, I'm not planning on retiring, but you never know. You never know.
Here's my thought on that.
But then I think for 32, they definitely, or 31, I think they are going to look at an offensive lineman. Like, they're definitely going to be in the market for offensive linemen. I think they've got to get a couple of things like squared away on their cap space a little bit.
The Travis Kelce thing, I wouldn't be surprised if he decided like next week he was going to retire. But at the same time, I don't think you go off of a oopsie for the team getting a three-peat. I think you do what kind of, in a sense, like older players have done in the past. You try and go for another year and see what happens. And see how your body feels. Because Gronk, I think, was at one point retired, and then he came back, right, to the Bucks. And they traded him from the Patriots to the Bucks, or I think that's how they got Gronk. Because with Brady, it was just he just signed with the Bucks, and then Gronk, in order to get over there, had to get traded and then signed a contract or whatever. Anyways, I wouldn't mind if he decided to retire, because yeah, he was a big distraction on the field, and that's what like makes it click for other wide receivers to get roles and get opportunities to get the ball in their hands. But we got Noah Gray, which has been a very great asset these past few years, and he got an extension, I believe, halfway through the year. And
Oh
we
yeah,
have Jared Wiley and a few others, but at the same time, I'm not sure what to think. But I think he's going to stick with the Chiefs.
I think at Kelsey at 35. I think Kelsey, of course, at 35 right now. I would not be surprised if he chooses to pass the torch.
Yeah.
So honestly, I think the most crucial move for the Chiefs at that point, the first major move is going to be brace for him. If if Travis Kelsey chooses to retire, it's a future Hall of Fame career. Brace for impact.
Yeah.
Brace,
Also,
brace for it. That's it. Like that's the first major one. Once you brace for that impact, whether or not it's going to happen, you then can start making adjustments around. Start thinking of adjustments around, especially your offensive line.
one more thing on Kelsey though. The famous line that he always said, I think it was the first time they were asking him if he was going to retire, and I think it was after Super Bowl 58 or before that, he was saying, "I'm going to ride as until the tires fall off or something like that."
Yeah, like it go until the
The
wheels
wheels
fall off,
fall
pretty
off.
much.
Yeah. So I think he goes till the wheels fall off. I don't know if that's mentally or physically, but whatever comes first, I guess.
Think I think that even though Jason was starting to deal with some back issues, I think once they started bringing the tush push, I think that decelerated a lot of the longer term stuff with him. But I mean, granted, Travis is also the younger brother in this case. But further digression. I'm going to shift over to the Eagles now, and I believe that Howie Roseman right now is building a complete resume to become a Hall of Famer in the contributor category. That is the other thing I'm looking at because you had all these moves that you made and you hit on every single one of them. It was like as if Howie Roseman, especially over these last few years, makes moves that don't miss. Trading for AJ Brown, getting rid of Carson Wentz, having all these different things kind of come along. It's like Howie Roseman is just an executive. He's an executive front office person, a GM that just has a sense. And the biggest key that he has to have, continue finding diamonds in the rough. If you can continue to find good diamonds in the rough and maximize the potential, oh my goodness, Philly is going to be scary for years to come. But now we can move on to the halftime show and talking about what KDOT brought in. And the first thing that I'm going to throw out there is grade it.
Yes, sir. Let's go. I'm hyped.
What is your grade for this show?
So I feel like most people that don't really understand who Kendrick Lamar is, or they see it as, oh, he was that one guy that won the rap beef with Drake, or he's the one guy that got all those Grammys. Like, they'd be like, okay, cool. Like, you have like this blindness of you don't know who they actually are, or understand what their art form is. And then you have the people that are like just happy to see him for the first time in their experience. And I feel like a lot of the people were very confused if they liked the halftime show or not, based off of his cadences and the way he just portrays the story. You know, plays along. And I honestly think that that halftime show was probably more creative than the past few that I've seen. Because last year it was Usher, and that was kind of a weird vibe where it was like, are we supposed to be okay with the fact that Usher's like pretty much playing this like cute flirty thing, which is almost like a Mr. Steal Your Girl kind of moment. And then after that it was Rihanna, I believe. 57 was Rihanna.
Yeah, before that, yeah, Rihanna.
And
yeah.
Rihanna, it was just kind of like, okay, whatever, like, it is what it is. But Kendrick Lamar with his performance.
And then you had Dr. Dre before that with a more so like the beautiful representation of LA, and Compton, with then being able to incorporate guys that Dre also put on.
I think the LA one with when they did the California stuff and whatever, like the Compton stuff, because it was in Compton, California for SoFi.
Or Inglewood, really. But,
yeah, correct.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the stadium's in Inglewood, but Dre is from Compton.
I thought they were about the same, but it's besides the point. I think if you were to like compare it to the LA one, I think the LA one would be probably about a C plus or a B minus, and then the Kendrick Lamar concert, I think that'd be like an A minus, because yeah, there is like the flair, the creative juices that are flowing from his brain for like the vision that he had for this halftime show. Not a lot of people caught on to it until later on after watching it again and again. It's all about, at some point, the first experience of witnessing what's going on and being blinded by certain things that happened that you didn't realize were happening. And what that created is like a bunch of people theorizing and making light of the messages that Kendrick Lamar was trying to put in that halftime show. Like the whole thing with the American flag, with and then Samuel Jackson being Uncle Sam and saying certain things that people either agree with or disagree with. It caused a big tension, but in a way that you wouldn't really understand it just off the top of your head. It was just kind of like, okay, this is a message that he's trying to convey, but we don't know what's happening until later on in the story when he portrays it. It's very different compared to like the rappers that you would hear nowadays. They mainly talk about money or women or being a superhero like Future. But by the way, that is a pretty damn good song. It's one of those songs that you listen to before you go to work just to pump yourself up a little bit, you know? Get the flow going. Anyways, what do you got, Spinnis? Sorry.
And the vital Samuel L. Jackson cameos. Not on our 2025 bingo card as a vital role. We were neither Ruckus nor I thought Samuel L. Jackson.
Dude, I shit my pants when I saw Samuel Jackson on the screen. I was like, is that Samuel? Holy shit, it's Samuel L. Jackson. What? And then we were all just like super excited watching the halftime show, and then they played a couple bangers like Not Like Us and Humble and some other ones. I was like, let's go. We were just all dancing in the living room. It was some good shit.
But SZA, I think what more impressed me about SZA more,
the outfit choice.
No, the outfit choice, but it's like, I knew it's like whenever you listen to, of course, SZA on like music, okay, she's got a great voice. But this was a great voice live. Like, you're like, sometimes how you end up like, oh, there's so much auto-tune that you auto-tune, pitch correct, and all this other stuff that a voice doesn't quite sound as good live. No. SZA naturally has it.
Can we say that about T-Pain? Like, could we make that the exception for autotune?
T-Pain was able to effectively use autotune as something to work in a style, but T-Pain outside of autotune, if you actually listen to it, T-Pain's good.
Yeah, blame it on the alcohol, baby. Or the
T-Pain T-Pain is definitely the exception to the norm with auto-tune, because it's like he uses it as an effect for amplification of a styling to his voice.
And then also the
Because
I'm on a
T-Pain
boat.
naturally, yeah, because T-Pain naturally has it.
Take a good hard
It's
look at the mother effing boat.
yeah, but I am I am going to grade. I think I'm going to give this the concept behind some of the things with the halftime show. Okay, the creativity level of it is definitely at an A.
Yeah, that was
However,
outstanding.
however, I'm going to say a lot of the beef related material that ultimately came around. I'm sorry, it's like The Simpsons where they're talking about like it's like he's already dead. It Some of it, yes, I swear, is beating a dead horse. Like you basic it just becomes
He's
a sense of overkill and petty.
well, he's also appealing to the audience that is
Yeah, no, I
more
get that.
familiar with him, because
I
I
I
was
get that.
doing because when I was doing when we were talking about our guesses for like songs and stuff, I was thinking more old
Oh
stuff,
yeah.
but instead it was more like the current stuff, which is good. That's not a knock on Kendrick Lamar.
I
It's just we
I found
didn't
the
know.
beautiful balance of the middle. I
Yeah,
found the beautiful balance of the middle where I'm like, okay, I know that there's a very good chance that if Kendrick is going to have a feature, it is likely going to be SZA.
yeah, and she did a really good job, by the way.
Oh yeah. So I'm like, okay, I know that they're gonna pull because a lot of the older stuff actually got pulled in the Dr. Dre show because he pulled
Yeah,
Mad City and All Right over there. So I
yeah,
knew that I'm like, okay, those two are not going to get thrown in. So I knew to keep those out. So I'm like, okay, he's going to go a little newer, but I think the cutoff was definitely going to be the 27, definitely going to be 2017.
yeah,
So I'm like, okay, you've got this. Then of course I'm like, SZA. Okay, there's two songs, so I'm like, okay. The second song, I knew when he was thinking slow it down. It was like keep it calm, keep it calm. I'm like, okay, Luther's got a chance here,
yeah.
but
I
I'm
think
like, okay,
I think
but
the direction overall was outstanding. It was just a matter of whenever you're watching it live, you're like trying to look for things, but it's all happening so fast. And then whenever you get to rewatch it on YouTube later, it's like, oh, okay. So this part here makes sense with this part. It to me, it felt like watching Get Out, like the thriller movie from Jordan Peele, his first one that he did, Get Out. Had like when you watch it the first time, you're like has that detective brain going. You're like, okay, what's going on next here and there, and then it turns out later, if you watch it more times, you get to see the other cues of what led to that. And I think it's a lot of fun to like kind of dissect the message that Kendrick Lamar was putting through in this halftime show.
then you have the other elements of yeah, he basically did the whole calling out Drake by name and everything there in front of 100 million. And then on top of that, he's got Serena Williams, who apparently Drake stalked at a certain point.
And she was crip
Involved,
walking in the halftime show, so if you miss that,
involved with that, yep. Which
it's during the Not Like Us part, but like it's probably the so I would just go to the beginning part where he starts singing Not Like Us and doing all that stuff. By the way, when he dropped the bar of A minor, the whole crowd did it and it was so awesome, and they just shut it and it was great.
and I
But
just looked at this, I'm like, that is the only part that I'm like, I know that there's beef, but at the same point, I'm like, Drake doesn't have another move left. He hasn't made any moves.
Well, if he does make a move, hopefully it's not on a minor, you know, because like the whole saga of him talking to God damn it,
He's
the chick from-
already dead.
The Stranger Things chick, Millie Bobby Brown, he was like talking to her apparently, and then stalked Serena Williams apparently, and did some other weird shit. It is what it is, but yeah, we get it. It's a very
It's like
popular song.
yeah, it's like I
The whole
think the
thing is
NFL.
popular.
I do believe the NFL and Rock Nation did use this as a particular like cheap, like it was a cheap grab. Like it was a
definitely
cheap grab,
was.
and I think there was too much of the beating a dead horse. But the closeout of TV off, going in with the Kendrick Lamar yelling mustard, and DJ Mustard showing up.
Not
Okay.
only that though, but whenever they would like transition between flows, the like alter egos in the songs, like especially
yeah,
in
with the- with
To Pimp a
the whole
Butterfly, like the
the transition.
or yeah or oh, like the like cartoonish sounds of like the oh no, oh yeah, like you get that more in like the newer stuff, but like man, just the cartoony feel, like you're feeling like you're in like a evil lair of like a Disney villain, and the side people that are trying to side with the ideas of that enemy, and they're like, oh no, but what happens if this happens, or I don't know, master. Like it's done so good and so creatively that it's freaking awesome. That's all I'm gonna say. There's not a real good way to explain it.
Kendrick is one of those
creative.
rappers that is outside of what the generic script of what you would think a rapper is. He comes from that Eminem type mold where Eminem will talk more about relatable life things to the community of which he raps about. That's just Eminem's thing. It's become Kendrick Lamar's thing, which makes it a little more resonant. And that Kendrick's themes, though darker,
Way darker.
it's prevalent and relevant to the culture that he's talking to, which is what makes him good at what he does. And now we move on to the stuff that was not related to the game or the halftime show. The best spots of the commercial. There were definitely some really good top spots that we had, and oh my gosh, there were just a couple of them that I'm like, I am dead. Like
I'm
this is
surprised at some of these I didn't really pay attention to, but I remember talking to my neighbors that I had at the party about Casey Affleck in the Dunkin' Donuts commercial where it's Ben and Casey Affleck in it, and I was like, wait, isn't that Casey? And then there was one with the Mountain Dew with Seal as a seal, and I was like, is that actually Seal? Like, are you shitting me? Like,
yeah. Oh my gosh!
I thought, in all honesty, I thought Seal was white because it sounds like a white name, but I was laughing hysterically.
Wow!
Seeing, like,
how did you? He
dude,
did the best
okay,
singer. He did the best singer one season.
Here's the thing. If you didn't know what Bruno Mars looked like back in the day, you probably would have thought, okay, white dude that sings really good, whatever. The first time I ever saw him face to face was on SNL back in 2011 when he played Just Amazing Just the Way You Are or whatever. He was singing that song. I was like, that's a good song. So I watched it, and it turned out the dude was this is gonna sound bad, but apparently the dude was black, and I didn't realize it, and I was just like, I was picturing a white guy for some reason. Like, I don't know why. Like,
oh no, that
maybe I was thinking, maybe I was thinking Sting versus Seal, but still, I thought he was white. But
yeah, he's Puerto Rican. Bruno Mars is actually Puerto Rican and Jewish.
doesn't that?
I
does that can would that make him? Does it matter at the end of the day?
I mean, and then he also has some Filipino, like, and his mother was his father Puerto Rican and Jewish, and then his mother was Filipino and some Spanish ancestry.
Part of me wants to think that
his
he's
last
a little
name
bit
is
black,
Hernandez. His last name is Hernandez. I mean, my thought was that I thought he would have been. When I first heard him, I'm like, okay. I thought, like, okay, he's probably African American. But then I was more shocked with the Latino, feel, because it didn't sound like a Latin. It didn't have like a Latin tone as much as it was.
I thought it was a preppy white boy, is what I was thinking. Like, I wasn't thinking like, I was thinking like Shawn Menendez level of white boy, where it's like, okay, he has a really good voice, and then I saw him and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, I wasn't like opposed to him being black or anything like that, but I just didn't see that. Because back in the day, when you saw like a choir boy, it was normally a white dude that sang really well. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to profile and be like, oh, that's wrong, they shouldn't do that. I was just surprised. Like, it's more of a surprise factor than anything.
Yeah, no, it's just when you, it's like, I would have figured, I'm like, okay, he's got a voice that, he probably has one of those voices where it's like, it sounds one way, but
yeah,
he doesn't really have like an accent. He doesn't really have like an accent that kind of would steer you either toward something extreme of one way or the other.
yeah.
That's just what it is. However, it's like, but then it's like Seal, it's like you've got, and of course, Kiss from a Rose was famously done in Batman Forever. It's like you basically had a spin-off of the soundtrack of Batman Forever in the form of Do commercial that just was so bizarre.
I loved the bizarreness of it when it came to the Yeti doing the Cabbage Patch, which you did correct me on because I didn't know what the dance move was at the time, because it's been a while since I've actually danced, and I'm not really a good dancer, but when I saw that random just dance move after the Yeti kicked something at the mountain to make it gush water or Mountain Dew or whatever they were trying to persuade of that being Mountain Dew, I saw that and I was like, that's pretty hilarious. It reminds me like a Rick and Morty short, but here we are.
Yeah. But this one, it was like, it was bizarre as anything, but I saw that commercial and I was like, I watched that through and I'm like, I am dying because it is, I'm like, it's weird, but it's like understanding that Seal is literally a seal and how they decided to do that, talking about the flippers and everything else. I was just like, I had to laugh. The next one we had was the Pringles mustache commercial with the 1960s Batman music. Oh my god! It's like, you gotta blow into the can. Da da da.
Yeah, I love that mustache commercial, especially with James Harden. They like ripped his mustache off, but he still had his full beard.
Off Andy Reid's too.
Dude, the Andy Reid one was so like trippy for me, and then seeing Nick Offerman, aka Ron Swanson from Parks and Rec, having the rocking the Harden stash, I was like, yeah, here we go.
Oh my gosh, I died. Like, that one was funny. Like, that one
I
was a
just
funny commercial.
I peed myself laughing a little bit also from the Bookings commercial with the Muppets and Statler and
Waldorf. Yep.
Waldorf
Statler Waldorf.
saying like,
Yep.
"We hate everything. What if we hate everything? Well, you can cancel any time."
Yep. And then Matthew McConaughey and Uber Eats. Oh my
Eats
goodness.
rice.
Oh yeah. Well, but then this one, the one that he actually did with the soup, like where he's even trying to pitch a movie about Uber Eats, Uber Eats and football, like, and the football is causing you the pressure to have food with all the different things and talking about bacon
Yeah,
and
Kevin
yes, everybody.
Bacon with the pig skin being like, "Oh, it's like bacon." So like Kevin Bacon. Oh yeah, bacon.
Everybody loves bacon. And then, of course, how he tried to present it. Like, that would be a very interesting, like, conspiracy movie, and Matthew McConaughey would obviously have to be the lead actor behind it.
And then next year's commercials, instead of food, it's gonna be how the Chiefs paid off the refs every game that they played.
Oh, no, I don't think so anymore.
And instead of Uber,
I
it's
I
just
don't
some
think you're
other
gonna
beer commercial or
I don't
something.
and then the DoorDash I think the DoorDash commercial, we didn't put that one in
That
there,
one
but
was
the Dash
so good with Nate Bergonzi.
Oh, yeah, because I still gonna say the Nate Mergatz with the
He was
saving
like,
money with the Dash
"I
Pass and the
saved so
cloning.
much with the groceries that I decided to make a
Clone
mansion."
myself. Clone myself. But
So much
yes, I
CGI was used in these commercials. It was
oh
insane.
yeah, there was a lot of CGI. But Nate Bargatze, the biggest thing you definitely have to watch outside of that commercial with the DoorDash, because he was an actor on SNL. There are two Washington's Dream segments of sketches, and both of them are hilarious because he's talking, of course, and he pokes lightly at some of the stupid things we do as Americans. And he's having this dream of talking about let cow like we have two different names for animals. One when they're actual animals, the other when they become food. What about the chicken? It stays.
Yeah,
And
because it
then
just
the
tastes like
buffalo
chicken.
wings the buffalo wings are made of chicken instead of actual buffaloes.
That never made sense to me, by the way, with that. But
What the
then,
what the buffalo wings thing?
yeah, not being
That's
buffalo.
because that's because the sauce and the location of where it was from.
Yeah, but as a
Pretty much
kid, if
the
you
whole
take
thing.
everything
Oh
literally, it's
yeah,
just kind of
of
like
course,
you're just like, what the
of course. You're understanding the point of the joke that it was done that
misleading.
way for the
B
yes.
Dubs, I hate you. Just so you know. And I've never been to a B Dubs ever, but just knowing the commercials, you are on my naughty list. Alright, let's keep going.
And then last but not least, there were three different beer commercials. The Clydesdale one is always good.
It was so cute this year. Like, there were many other times where it was like the dog with the horse and they were like best buds and like it was super cute. This one was like extra cute. Like, the in the commercial, the younger horse is like,
Keg,
sorry, you can't join the others, and then the
keg
young
balls.
one sees the keg and then tries to deliver it to his owner or whatever at the shop, and then at the end of that commercial they showed the king crown with the horse, and I thought that was super cute. Like, in general, like, it was outside of the box compared to the other older commercials that they had for like Clydesdale.
However, there were two funny beer commercials. that covered.
Yes.
Oh, and I think we start by going away from Bud for the moment here, because we then go to Coors.
Budweiser, but okay.
But then we start with Coors Light and the Sloths.
Yep, the Zootopia Sloths, where it's the
Oh my
Monday's
god.
Light. It's the case of the Monday's Light. Go ahead, Spence. Sorry.
Oh my gosh, and they did it in such a way that it's like, oh, it's like, yeah, the cases of the Mondays with Coors Light and the Sloths, and it did have that Zootopia feel of like the sloth at the DMV, the slow speed car chase, and
Yes.
yeah, so that one was funny, a very underrated one for me, because I'm like, okay, I can see the humor in this, but it was like when I was first kind of looking at it, I was like, I wasn't fully paying attention to it. I was just like, slow
Mm-hmm.
speed car chase, like what? But the one that actually was really solid, they finally built up upon the Shane Gillis and Post Malone Bud Light commercial with the full spot for the Super Bowl in the big men on the cul-de-sac with Shane Gillis and Post Malone, where they fire beer cans
T-shirt
out
guns, and
t-shirt cannon.
dude, I don't know if that's actually the invitation of, hey man, like you're invited to a party. I feel like if that fucking beer can exploded
That's
on
a safety
my
hazard.
dude, I feel like if that exploded on my front lawn, I'd be pissed. Even if it was like on my doorstep, I'd be like, whatever. But I mean,
It just gives more like the rendition of like Stone Cold smashing a couple brewskis and
I'm
doing
not
the
against a beer can randomly being thrown at my doorstep because I have a screen in front porch. So if you hit that, you just hit the porch. Fucking, I don't care. It is what it is. But like, I think it would probably suck for someone that doesn't care for their front lawn
beer.
to smell like beer afterwards. But like, come on, man. I'm a college kid at heart, and I love cheap beer, and it'll eventually evaporate and go away. But yeah, I love that commercial. It was awesome. Shane Gillis and Post Malone talking about
oh.
the cooler that they had, and Peyton was like oh, how many Bud Lights can you fit in there? And then Shane's like,
As
hold
many
my
as
beer.
it takes.
He was like, hold my beer, pretty much. And I was
Did you
like,
hear about the front of that vehicle though? It's like, oh, your lawnmower's your grill's got your grill cuts grass. Nah, my lawnmower has a smoker.
I thought it was, oh, my griller cuts grass or something like that.
No, it's the grill cut. Oh, my grill cuts grass. Is like, yeah, your lawnmower's got a smoker.
Yeah, like,
Cause he's smoking meat on the hood of his tractor.
I just thought in general it was funny that they went like all out for the Bud Light because
they went all out for that.
It's funny because like apparently like a couple of years ago there was like a whole like controversial thing that was going on with Bud Light, and now it's like all good now with Shane Gillis and Post Malone. I think even before the Dylan Mulvaney thing, Post Malone was like a big Bud Light advocate. So I think it's good to have a Shane Gillis and Post Malone helping with their ads to get more
and then
sales.
the other good thing that came about with that was that the cutback had Peyton Manning next to the doing the thing with the cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah, the cutback right after that was what made that prime. And yep, we added the Samuel L. Jackson playing a key role in the halftime show to the "This wasn't on my 2025 bingo card."
So, I think a lot of people were surprised by that. Like, I saw the Uncle Sam thing, and I was like, okay, why the hell is it? Wait, hold on. Is that Samuel Jackson? Holy shit, that's Samuel Jackson. Oh my god, it's Samuel Jackson.
Jackson. Yeah, so yes.
Okay, for the record, I think if Samuel Jackson said motherfucker and got censored for it, I would have been happy too, but I was just glad that he was playing something out of the ordinary.
Yeah. Or that he eventually I was hoping for an eventual like, where is my super suit?
Woman, where is my super
Yeah,
suit?
super suit. That would have been. I think that
Or
would have been even funnier.
this is
Talking
a
about
good burger. Where'd you get this burger? What?
from Pulp Fiction.
Tell me,
English.
English,
you speak
motherfucker.
it? Do you
I
speak it?
know. My favorite part of that is I double W, motherfucker. Now tell me.
Oh my goodness! Like
Yeah,
all
this is getting
all
age
the
gated.
Samuel.
That's
Yep,
okay though. It was worth it.
but yes. So we've had already a few notable things from the first 2 months of the year, and really, we're not even halfway through February yet, and a lot has said this wasn't on our bingo card.
Yeah, and Spennis even like randomly will send me a message on Discord being like, "Yo, this wasn't on your bingo card, was it?" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" Spennis is
Like,
on his new
oh yeah,
form
because
of Ruckus and The Menace sports podcast creative writing, and I'm like, "Oh my
I'm
god,
we're looking at this like,
we're branching out."
yeah, I'm looking like, did you have that? Like, did you have this somewhere on the?
And then my usual answer is probably no, and then a more explicitly
Sometimes no.
termed
It's sometimes
F
no.
no. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know what the hell is going on.
Oh yeah, but then there's some where it's like, oh yeah, like I think I may have had that. Like, oh yeah, because we had like an arena horn falling and nearly hitting Rudy Gobert, but we had
And I
something.
was like, ooh.
I'm, I'm like, okay. I'm like, it could, but I'm like, generally some sort of stadium malfunction sounds like something that would be on a normal bingo card anyway. So I didn't do it.
All right,
But we are now getting to near the end of the episode.
2 hours
So we
in to
come
be
down to
exact.
our stud and dud of the week.
All right, we're 2 hours in. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. All right, do you want me to go for my stud first?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so if you made it this far, congratulations, you're awesome, and you're definitely worthy because guess what? My stud for this episode is Xavier Worthy with the highest yards gained in a Super Bowl as a rookie with 157. And also that basket catch that he had near the end of the game. Woo!
That was
good.
my god. Like I saw that, like I saw the one catch. I'm like, this thing looked the the bomb one was even like was a dot. And
Do
then the
you
one that
think... Go ahead.
and then the other one looked solid. I'm like, how he was able to get underneath of that, like stay underneath of that. I'm like there's no way he's staying underneath that.
Does
And then I saw the replay.
do you
He
think
indeed
that
did.
Do you think Tyreek Hill could have done it, or do you think he would have bobbled it and then missed the catch compared to if Worthy did it? Like he did?
I think Tyreek Hill is a smaller receiver, so he probably would have been able to get down to the ground a little bit faster if it came down to it. But I think it's a 50-50. I think it's 50-50.
I feel like with Worthy's like arm length, it would have been better because with Tyreek, he was more so bottom heavy rather than.
Or I would have said he was more speed based of getting the ball over the top into his hands in stride.
Yeah, he was more of like an RPO kind of guy, kind of with McCall
Yeah,
Hardman.
he was not the tough like I think Worthy is a little more make the tough catches because he's a little bigger.
Yeah. I think
Or
he's
at
going to
least
be the
taller.
next. I think he'll be the next D-Hop if he stays healthy and it keeps up with the speed.
Oh,
He
yeah.
could be
He's
better.
got, and now he's got D-Hop to learn from, too.
Yeah, and dude, D-Hop is such a good role model. The tweet he put out about being a kid in a spot in life where you don't like you have high aspirations, but like the conditions are not the greatest. He was like, "Hey, man, I was in the hood and I was dreaming that I wanted to play in the Super Bowl, and guess what? I am not only an NFL player playing in the pros, but I'm in my first Super Bowl. Like, keep your head up and uh, just don't worry about it. Just do what you love." Like, that was his main message. Anyways, for my dud, which it's pretty weird that we went from a good moment to now a wah wah. But my dud for this episode is John Morant's father berates the refs and gets ejected. According to ESPN, he said the fix is in. Probably said more than that, but you know, there's definitely more of the story that they don't want to talk about because he probably said some really mean shit to the refs. And this isn't the first time a member of John Morant's club decided to say something. I believe one of his buddies said something to the refs that wasn't so nice as well. So another little bit of baggage for John Morant on my dud. All right, Spinnis, what do you got? Spinnis! Spinnis!
All right. My dud for this
You're good.
episode
We
was.
didn't hear your stud or your honorable mention.
Oh, I was going to go backwards.
Okay.
My dud was Fox Sports for choosing to put up such a horrendous looking score bug. It was so bad that even Pizza Hut even thought Gronk designed the scoreboard. Hey, look and say, who did Gronk design the scoreboard? Now, I was not feeling the transparent background behind the numbers. And the fact that they just went with the two generic letters for KC instead of the arrowhead. A lot of things just didn't make sense about that scoreboard.
I do agree with you on that. The cartoonish design kind of felt like they were trying to go more like what Disney did, where they're like, okay, we're going to put some integration of like an IP like Toy Story or something along that nature to get people more interactive with the NFL. I wonder if they were trying to do that, but also test the waters to see if people would like the new graphic. Personally, I think the old CBS graphic for what they had whenever they debuted the new one for the Super Bowl 58, I was like, this one looks like ass. Like, jeez. Like, it just doesn't look good. Where the one before was, like, very colorful, saturated, whatever. But, I think the Fox logo looked alright, in my opinion, but yeah, I can see where the blending into the environment factor of the scoreboard can confuse people and also make it hard to see. Like especially when it showed like the lines for the field and it matched the same color with like the actual score. It's very misleading there, and also there's just no like guidance on the scoreboard. It's just kind of floating. You know what I mean? You there?
My honorable mention for this episode is Jameis Winston. Fox had him as a correspondent for Super Bowl week. And there was quite a bit of YouTube fun. I don't know if you got to see any of it, but he had gone through media day asking all sorts of players, hey, where do I need to go for free agency? Because I'm about to not have a job. And Jameis just had me dying. And Jameis just had a charismatic personality that works. I could see him doing something like this in the future now. Because he had done the substitute PE teacher and
I think he has
jazz club.
I think he has a good role of being a comedian in general. I haven't seen much of what he does, but I can just tell, like, the body language and just the outright, like, it seems like he's, like, playing a Homer Simpson character, but he's also just being genuine and very, like, family friendly, and I think he's just a funny dude.
And of course, he's there like jump off sides, dang! Where he's actually going through a cadence, he's like, jump off sides! Bo Nix did it too. Somebody jump off sides! And then my stud was Eagles defensive back Cooper DeJean for getting a pick six in the Super Bowl on his 22nd birthday. He was the first to score in a championship game on a birthday since Eagles running back Steve Van Buren did it in 1947. And I could tell that Fox had to dig really, really deep for that stat.
Yeah.
But Ruckus, go ahead and take us out.
All right, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for sticking with us this long, 2 hours and 15 minutes about to be. I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus.
And I'm Ruckus and The Menace.
Thank you for dealing with my rant and other shenanigans. Like I said, I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus. We'll see you guys in a couple weeks, and before you know it, baseball will be here, and we'll all be excited about the Royals and many other teams, but I am Ruckus, always causing a ruckus.
Yep. See y'all next month. I'm Ruckus and The Menace. Deuces.
We'll miss you, and also thank you for listening to my dumb rant this episode.